Anderson, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our 6th grade showcase performance. This is a really fun show. This is an opportunity to see, first off, the entire 6th grade orchestra performing together as a full ensemble for the first time in history. It's This is normally 2 different class periods. We don't think this is one of the few rooms in the building we would all fit in, so we split up into 2 groups normally, and this is their chance to get together and play for the first time. This is also a fun show since it's also a showcase performance in that we're going to show off and demonstrate everything we've done since the beginning of the year. The majority of these students were essentially beginners. Many of them had never touched an instrument before 3 or 4 months ago, and we've come a long way. So we're going to start from the beginning and move all the way through some pretty fancy things. So to begin with, one of the first things we had to figure out with was what instrument we were going to play. Some of us chose the violin. Some chose the viola. Some chose the cello. A few, the proud, the brave, and the bold, and those with big cars chose the bass. And in fact, the notes are, we have more greater numbers and smaller numbers of different instruments. The balance actually is perfect. The larger the instrument, the fewer of them we need. So having half violins is just right. About a third violas, and then the cellos and basses get a little smaller is fantastic. So they chose well. It worked out nicely. So, starting initially on a string instrument is very easy. There's 4 strings, and all you have to do is just wrap your finger around one and pull. Try that at home. I don't know it'll work, but it does for me. However, that was a little disorganized. We needed to become a little more organized, so we could do some things like except here's the real quirk. We didn't actually have instruments in our hands for the first probably 3 weeks of school. So before we got to any of this, we had to learn some of the basic foundation fundamentals of music. And the very first thing we talked about was the fact that in the beginning, there was the quarter note. Ready to go? Ready to go? That's better than usual.
The quarter note is one of the basic units of music. It represents 1 beat of sound.
Representing a beat of sound simply by clapping. It's great. After a while, it gets a little old. We needed something different. Thus came the quarter rest. Good.
Quarter rest is another of the basic units of music. It represents 1 beat of silence.
Now you may notice their silence is not exactly silent. However, you'll also notice they're not clapping. When you have to externalize something weird like a concept of a beat of silence, it helps to do something, so they're anti-clapping and moving. After a while, though, these also got a little weird. So we had to mix them up a little bit. We needed to have a system of organization. We needed to put them on something to be able to read them, and we put them on something called a 5 lines and 4 spaces. It allowed us to put the quarter notes and quarter rests in various patterns to create various patterns, such as 1, 2, 3, go. So we had our sound, we had our silence. We got pretty good at keeping track of them and actually starting to read rhythmic notation. Of course, that's not all there is to music. We needed a little more. So this staff gives us some cool options. Depending on where you put the notes on the staff, you can get different pitches, be it high or low. If you put a note towards the top of the staff, it'll sound a little higher. Put it way down at the bottom of the staff, it'll sound a little lower. Put it in the middle of the staff, it'll sound kind of medium. Between the highs and the lows, the sounds and the silences, getting a little organization, eventually things started to work out a little better. We were almost ready to play some actual music. Volunteers, thank you very much.
bypass the mic from this point because I shouldn't have any trouble covering up this room. So it was the third or fourth week of school, and we finally got instruments in our hands. In order to get started, though, we had to have a basic way of holding them that allowed them to not only see what they were doing, but to do it comfortably, accurately, and in a relaxed manner. For violins and violas, this was something called guitar position, and in order to get into guitar position, we started from the very bottom with your two, there you go.
Easy, back, fingertips to neck, water, your thumb, play just like that.
So to translate, feet. Their feet should be on the floor. If they reach, some of them don't. Their seat should be towards the front of the chair. Again, the taller they are, the farther back they can sit, but none of them are taller than me, and I don't sit back, so they need to be up there pretty close. The fingertips on their left hands are forming in a nice square over, especially for violins and violas. This is important. Cellos can be a little more relaxed. The water gun is their right hand, literally curled up, holding it in place. This also leads to the bow grip eventually, and then they're able to simply get suction cup their thumb onto the fingerboard and play. Works out really well. That's their position. Now set there, they were in good shape, and then we were able to play. So one of the first things we learned was number 6 from the Essential Elements book, jumping jacks. We didn't really need those woos anymore. You could internalize them, but a better way to do that is to literally just breathe. So from this point forward, anytime they have a beat of rest, you should mostly see that, but you might hear a little inhaling as well. That's totally the right idea for now. So we're going to move on to number 7 with no woos. Terribly hard. One of the challenges is playing them together. That's part of what we're working on. So, both these exercises we just played were in unison and used only open strings. As we got a little more advanced, we discovered we needed to expand our repertoire of notes a little bit. In order to do that, we needed to get our fingers more involved. So, we had some exercises. Shake out both hands. Shake out both hands. And would you please point to the ceiling? Make a square. Point in. Make a square. Go to the ceiling. Make a square. Go in. Double time. Go. Ceiling. Square. In. Square. Square. In. Alternate. This way. In. Double time again. Go to the block. This way. That way. This way. Okay, shake out. 2 fingers. Square. In. Square. Ceiling. Square. In. Alternate. Then this way. Then that way. Then this way. That way, then eventually you get to double time, double alternate. You ready? Shake them out. Just sit right there. All right. Oh, there. Get a little fancier. Palms together. If you're wanting to see this again later, we are getting it recorded and it will be put on YouTube tomorrow. So get your hands available and join us. If you can put your phones down, it'll work much better. I need a huge round of applause using only your index finger. All right, try your middle finger. All right, third finger. Pinkies. Thumbs. Thumb and pinky. 1 and 3. How about a wave? Check them out. All right. And there's a number of others. We get fancier as we go, but they did get their fingers working pretty well, and that enabled us to play some fancier music. We're going to move on to walking. taking notes, to step it up one more notch, we also needed to change strings. And our next piece does that. Our next piece is also a little nod to the upcoming winter holiday season. And in fact, if you've got keys on you, if you've got keys in your pocket or in your wallet, grab your keys. You will know what to do when the time comes. Coming up. Johns Creek High School has their winter concert on December 3rd. The Orchestra Middle School 7th and 8th grade band and orchestras are performing together here on December 11th. And I hate to say I don't have the chorus date off the top of my head. I believe it's in between those two. I will put it in my email that I send to remind you about all this tomorrow. So we've got 3 great opportunities coming up. I encourage you to come out to any or all of them. Now, everything we've done so far, they've stayed in guitar position. This allowed them to get their left hands really well established. They can see it. They know what's going on. It's relaxed. There's no tension because tension is... You gotta be relaxed. Any kind of tension, I always tell them they're going to get arthritis. Well, they probably won't, but it's just imagine. So we had to get them back into a little better proper position for playing that also will eventually allow them to use a bow. This is called jaw position, and there's a set of steps for this as well. They've already got their feet on the floor, they're already in front of the chair, they're already sitting up straight. From there, they have to do what you're doing. Comfortable. And liberty, crows, airplane, motor, and... Now an instrument held up properly, and again, this should be very relaxed. If it's set up correctly and all is angled right, put on straight, it should just hang there. For cellos and basses, this is continued review. However, their fingers require more strengthening than theirs do, so it's a good opportunity to get better at this. That said, we are going to play a plain old D scale. Scales are some of the building blocks of music. You're going to hear this a couple times, but now that we're in jaw position, we're going to do it for real. Watch that closely. That's the job. That's how it works. All right, we can now apply that, and we're going to play another one from the book. This is Matthew's March. One more. If you brought any tiny people, hopefully they will recognize this one. 2 months, the most common question was, when do we get to the bow? Now, bows are amazing, but they're basically just sticks with horsehair. Nothing fancy about them, but they do allow us to play much different tones and much longer notes than we would have gotten otherwise. However, getting a bow grip established is just as important as the left hand. Getting that right hand incredibly relaxed, incredibly soft, and incredibly flexible is very, very important. So there's some steps to do that as well. Since y'all don't have bows, would you please shake out your left hand and point it to your right hand. Point your left index finger to your right hand. Good. They already have it up here. Shake out your right hand now. And we will start with, this has various names over the years, but we're going to go with Angry Llama. Wiggle his ears. Stick his tongue out. Put it back. Good. Angry Llama is now hungry. Feed him something. All right. Angry Llama, I'll do this for a second, gets a little sleepy, so this ear starts to flop over. Yeah. And unfortunately, the violin and viola llamas are slightly defective. This ear doesn't quite go down all the way. It ends up on top. Cello and bass got the luxury model llamas. Theirs flops all the way over. And if all is good, this is really, really relaxed and flexible. They point it to the ceiling, and they can let go. All right, in y'all's case, you don't have anything to let go of, so you're good. Once this is in place, they can do things like windshield wipers. This is that. By helicopter. They all have flexibility here. Totally relaxed and fluid is the goal. With that in mind, we're going to play that D major scale again, but this time with bow. First off, an incredible difference in tone. They get a lot more sound that way. Second thing is, on something like a scale, they don't have music in front of them. It's memorized, so you should really be able to see every single one of their eyeballs staring at you. It's almost creepy sometimes, but it's good. That means they're really paying attention and watching not only me, but each other. All right. All the exercises we played so far have been from our Essential Elements book. On their own, they do have maybe not as much excitement as you'd like, but the nice thing is the book series also has a recording series that goes with it that does have play-along tracks. You actually do have access to these. They're online. You can download them for free. We use them in class pretty regularly. I didn't use them here tonight because I didn't want you to get distracted, but we do want to give you one example. So we're going to go ahead and play, what are we playing? Treble Lament for you, and we'll do it with a recording.
'57, Tribal Lament.
Has been in unison. So they've all been playing the same notes at the same time, same rhythms all together. That's really not how real music works, or real music would be pretty boring. So, to mix it up a little bit, real music does have different parts playing different things at different times. We're going to do that in the form of that D major scale one more time. The different sections are going to start at different times. We'll do it as a round. Violins will begin, violas will follow, and cellos and basses will wrap it up.
attention for the whole show because there actually is a test afterwards, and it comes in the form of what I call the Friends and Family Quiz. When you are heading out those doors later, you can actually see the stand right there, it'll be out a little farther, there's going to be a stack of these. You're going to need to grab one per kid. So if you have one kid here, please take one form. This one form is what's called the Friends and Family Quiz, and the idea is all of the things you just learned about and just saw them demonstrate, you are going to be the judge. You're going to be the one who critiques them. You're going to be the one who follows the rubric and gives them a score on a quiz. Now, it's a very easy quiz. It's from the Essential Elements book. It's one they've already played before. It's also available if they don't have any, a couple folks may not have many folks here tonight. They can also do it in class. We've got 7th and 8th graders who have done this who will be happy to help as well, and I can help as well. It's also not due for a couple of weeks. You've got plenty of time on this, but make sure you grab one of those, take it with you, so you can really confirm that you have learned everything. And if you haven't, again, you can check YouTube tomorrow. I will send it to you, and you can watch the whole show again. Okay? This doesn't happen every year. Some years, depending on the students and the time of year and how many weeks of testing schedules got interrupted, we don't necessarily always get to the bow and part music quite this soon. This year has been exceptional. These folks have really followed directions well. They've really done a great job. I mean, they're even like sitting exactly like they're supposed to right now. This is amazing. And that has gotten us to the point where we are able to play an entire actual piece of music now that is part music with different sections playing different rhythms, different times. This piece is called Soul Strings. It gives you a little taste, a little feel for where this goes. It gets so much better. This is just the beginning, and there's really no limit to how far they can go. I've got former students who are professional musicians. I've got former students who are simply lifelong lovers of music who continue to enjoy it, and some play and some don't. But that's really the long-term goal, is just to love music and have fun with it. Another opportunity they have coming up, which hopefully you've all gotten via email, is the 6th grade clinic. It's in February, but we are going to go ahead and set a deadline for registration for next week. I want to say, I put it as Tuesday, the week we come back to school. There's also some information on the back of the Friends and Family Quiz that has links to the registration and payment options. I won't say that we have no cutoff, but we do have to cut off at some point, so get in a little sooner than later if you can. It is 3 schools worth of students between River Trail, Uttra Mill, and Taylor Road, and when we perform in this gym, the grand finale will be that piece along with another piece, along with some other fun stuff that will feature potentially up to about 300 students. It's a crowd, it's a lot of fun. So get signed up for that if you haven't yet. Hope to see all of you there. Beyond that, I want to say thank you to a number of distinguished guests and honored friends around the room. We've got several teachers and administrators, as well as Mr. Kim's over here. I want to say thank you to him, as well as some former students over here. Thank you to all of you. And finally, thank you to you as parents for continuing to value and support music education. It is so good for them. And like I said, it only gets better. So thank you for all of your support now and in the future. Students, I'm about to send you slowly on your way back that way. Reminder, anything you brought in this room needs to be removed. Don't move yet. Anything you brought in needs to be removed, and if that takes 2 or 3 trips, you can take 2 or 3 trips. And right now, I'm going to slowly, quietly, carefully send you out the back door. And then I'll say hi to you again.